glad to see all of you. I want to thank the governor, the congressman, State Representative Tim Solveig, Tom Buffenbarger, the International President of the Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, and a great friend to me and to Hillary. I want to introduce another candidate for Congress, Steve O'Donnell, who's running against Congressman Tim Murphy, and if you can help him against his people, you heard the governor say what he did about my having to go to Florida to be with Senator Obama tonight. I'm really looking forward to it, but I want to talk to you from the heart. You've been, this part of Pennsylvania has been especially good to me and was magnificent to Hillary. You may know that Washington County, she got almost 78% of the vote. It was her second best county. Greene County was over 76%, her third best county. And Fayette County, at about 2 votes under 80%, was her best county. And I say that because I want you all to listen to me about this election. Look, Senator Obama's going to win this election and win it handily unless something happens. And the only thing that can happen is if people stop thinking about what's at stake. And that brings me to something I believe what I'm about to tell you as strong as I believe. The only way Jack Murphy can lose this election is if people stop thinking. Now consider this. He has an opponent who moved here to run for Congress, who says that his opposition to Iraq is wrong, who claims to be a better friend of the military, and wants to privatize Social Security. And yet all the polls show, because he's spending a ton of money telling you how bad Jack is, that he's got a chance to win. Now let me tell you something. First of all, I have been there. This is going to be tough. And it won't be enough to have a President Obama. You're going to have people in the Senate and in the House that will work with them and help them. Mixed messages. How are you going to explain it to a guy who's labored his whole life for you? There's not anybody in Congress that's done a better job for his or her district than Jack Murphy has for this one. Number one. There's not anybody in Congress who's been a better friend to the men and women in uniform and our veterans than Jack Murphy. We've got not a few, tens of thousands of wounded veterans from these two conflicts coming home. You heard Edmund Bill mention it. I'm telling you, they're injured in mind, in body, in spirit. You need somebody there that you know is going to take care of these people. And then we are, exact second, going to have to rebuild the military. I did my best when I was president to modernize the military for the 21st century and to leave it ready to meet whatever challenges we need. And you heard what he said, over 90% of our units were combat ready. Now we're down to 10%. We have just about broken this military. And we're going to even think about replacing the one person who roared us all along, that if we went headlong into 2 wars and kept doing this, we were going to break the military. I don't think so. You got too much sense for that. I want you to send Jack Murphy back to the United States Congress, where he can help build this country and give us a country for public office. And nothing is happening to change my mind. But a lot of us go around America now campaigning for Senator Obama with a little button that says, Hillary sent me. And I'll guarantee you, she sent me. As soon as this thing was over, she said, now look, you've always outworked me. I'm going to do twice as many events as you are, but I have to go back to work and make a living for our family and help pay off the campaign debt. And I had to do some work for my foundation, but she got me out here hustling around, And it's an honor to do it, and here's why. We had our 33rd wedding anniversary not very long ago, and we were taking long walks up the road. And the leaves were coming in, it wasn't too cold, and we were thinking about our long lives, and we said, if something happened to us been so fortunate. And both of us feel, from our very different perspectives now, that what we really owe all the rest of you who gave us a chance to serve or gave us your support is to try to leave this country better off for our children and our grandchildren and give the world a better chance to come together instead of being torn apart. Now, therefore, I want to say this. Senator Obama can't lose this election unless people forget what it's about. Unless they think they can indulge their regrets, their resentments, their reservations, instead of thinking about what it is about. So I'm going to tell you, there's only two things you can do between now and election day. Only two. Number one, you can get our crowd out. You can squeeze every last vote that's already for us and get under the vote. So I hope you're doing that. That's not what I want to talk about. Second thing you can do is to find the people that are still up in the air about this, maybe even a little over in the other direction but soft, and tell them why they ought to support Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And I'm going to tell you from my perspective, and only I can give this speech because I've been there. And I want to make 4 quick points to you. And I want you to listen and share it with your friends and neighbors. Okay? The presidency is the world's greatest job interview. That's what a campaign is. And on election day, you make the hiring decision. You're the boss. So you have to decide what is the job. Or you can figure out who to hire. What are they supposed to do? I think there's 2 things the next president has to do. We've got to turn this economy around and make it work for ordinary people again. And we've got to restore America's standing in the world for peace and prosperity. Now, once you define the job, it gets a lot easier to make the hire. There are 4 reasons I think that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and this part of Pennsylvania that's been so good to me and my wife and our family should choose Barack Obama and Joe Biden. 4. And these are the things that it takes to be a good president. You got to have the right philosophy, you got to have the right policies, you got to be able to make good decisions and execute. Execute. Okay, so let's just run through it. Barack Obama's got the right philosophy. He knows that America only works best from the ground up, not from the top down. We've had 8 years of top down. Thank you very much. And it did not work. That's why we went from 22.7 million to 4 million jobs. That's why we went from family incomes going up $7,500 a year across all racial and regional lines to family incomes going down $2,000 after inflation. That's why we're in trouble, because it was a top-down country for the last 8 years. 90% of the benefits of this decade went to the top 10%, over 40% to the top 1%. Look, I'm not against rich people. I'm one of them. And I love saying this because I never had a nickel to my name, but I want to tell you something. Anybody that's in our income group ought to be willing to pay our fair share of taxes and ought to want the tax relief and the education fund and the health care fund and go to the build the middle class. I'm not putting on a hot air. I don't ever say it. You don't have to say anything bad about anybody else. You got to pick a president. This is a hiring decision. But if you pick the person with the right philosophy, the right policies, the right decision-making about building and the ability to execute, it is not a close question. That's why this part of Pennsylvania should say, okay, we voted for Hillary overwhelmingly, but we know this is really about our children and the future of our country and how we're going to relate to the rest of the world. And on Tuesday, we're going to be there for Barack Obama as the president.